Check, check, check. Right. Good evening. Can you hear me first thing? Anyone in chat, let me know if I'm audible. Very good. Right then, here we are. So, SimSeniors Season 3, Group 1, Round 3 at Watkins, Glen. Let's put this on the big screen, shall we? Great stuff. So, might have a guest in the commentary box at some point. I'll have to see how we go. Hopefully Neil Mellon can join us. Just see if he pops in on Discord. Haven't seen him just yet, but hopefully he'll pop in at some point to say hi. Apart from that, I would just do a fairly low-key commentary this evening as well. If it's just me, I won't talk all the way through. Nobody wants that. Okay, so let's have a little look here. Try and make this screen a little bit bigger for me. Brilliant. Okay. Great stuff. So try and keep an eye on everything that's going on here. We're just at the end of free practice now. We've got quali coming up any minute now, just once everyone's finished their lap. And let's just talk about where we are and what the groups are and who's in the group that we're looking at, who are the main contenders, I guess, for the race this evening. So yeah, we're just pulling up now. Everyone in the pits. We have 31 guys on track this evening. 31 drivers, fantastic. And we are here. Quali is off and it's going to get out first. Is that the front then? Is that Mr. Starkey got out first? I think it is. Or maybe not. No, actually, who is this? Has just come out front. No, it is. It's Mr. Starkey. Craig Starkey come out first. So, Watkins Glen, what can we say about Watkins? It is super smooth track. Somehow, though, seems to absolutely destroy tyres, at least in my experience, gets through tyres like nobody's business. So I think towards the end of the race, we're going to see a lot more wear. We're going to see some incidents, some mistakes there. We're going to see certainly for some cars in particular, I think the mid or rear engine cars getting through the back tyres a bit quicker than the front engine. So maybe the Beamers and what have you doing better towards the end of the race at the start. Saying that, we've got some very fast guys up front in the BMWs anyway. Mainly looking at the main contenders, Dan Moffat and also Mr. Sparks, who are both putting in really fast times in practice. So yeah, they're seriously competitive guys. Let me just change the view here. Give me a second. No good at multitasking. Brill. Okay. Before I do that. Right, we're there. Okay, so everybody just on the warm-up lap for quali now. Moving on out. So who have we got? The main contenders we got here. We've got some really, really fast guys in this group, as we know. We got the Pro and then we got the AM category here as well. I'll try and keep an eye on both of those categories and see what happens. Yeah, well, the Porsche is always going to kill tyres. Great. Yeah, good point. No, let's see. Let's see. It's a Porsche. I think the Porsche goes pretty well here, so with the rotation and everything. But yeah, I've managed good laps in the Porsche at tracks like Kyalami. It should go well here. I've never really tried, but yeah, see how you go. So we got on track that we should talk about. Let's just go through the usual contenders then. So we've got Sparks and Moffat, the two faster guys here tonight. We've got Paul Sims as well, really fast too. Rich Gasson is there in the mix too. He had a really, I think he had a rough race, didn't he, at Silverstone and at Alton. I can't remember what happened. No, with Silverstone was about Alton that he had a particularly bad time. But yeah, looking at I haven't looked at the championship. Apologies. Let me just have a very quick look at the championship contenders before I get stuck into the commentary proper. So let's just have a look at what we've got in Group 1 at the moment. So in the Pro Group, we have got, at the moment, very close at the front, we've got Molino, Wolf Slenner, and Dan Moffat, the top three. And then it's 15 points back, around 15 points back to Rich Gasson in fourth. Chris Bourne in fifth, took a 5-point penalty somewhere. And then it's Sparks, Waite, Sims, and then Marsh Alessandro Marigaglia has withdrawn from this season. He's going to do some other races with us. And obviously I'm not driving either, not that I was going to be up there in the mix. We got some other really fast guys on track and maybe haven't had that much luck in the pro group as well, like Cullingworth. So yeah, we got some really fast guys there. And then looking down in the silver category, we've got Richard Cook leading the way there, but only by 6 points to Mark Rogers, John Gabbert, Matthias Holmberg, Colin McNair, Gary Barrow and Craig Holmes, good man, and Craig Starkey, and then plenty of others. Kamara as well in the category, I think, is a potentially very fast guy as well. So let's see how they all go this evening. Right, let's look at what we've got. We've got Wolf Leonard's put in the early pace. He's done a 1:44.5 on his first flying lap. He's on his second lap now. So he's looking very competitive. Yeah, you're right, Chris. He did exactly the same. Under maybe more contentious circumstances, I'm pretty confident that the decisions that were made after the last race were the right decisions, and pretty much, you know, everybody here in the group took it pretty well. And you know, it's difficult if you've got a very strong opinion about what you think should have happened, the way things work, and certainly the way penalties should be applied. Then it's very difficult if things don't go your way. So let's leave it there. I should be a politician, shouldn't I? That would be a fair way to look at it. Okay, so we've got Wolf Leonard's put in the early pace, 1:44.5, but close behind is Sparks at 1:44.7, 1:44.8 from Molino. Sorry if my voice goes a bit, but I'll have to just go quiet and let you watch the race. And then, so yeah, Gasson's just put in a 1:45.3. I know all these guys are capable of going a fair bit quicker than this as well. I'm not sure, looking at it, where the track is just now. I can't look to see if it's gone optimal. I don't have it mapped to my keyboard the way it should be. Apologies. So yeah, we've got some really fast guys out there at the moment. Let's have a look at anyone who's on an absolute flyer. Craig Stark is on a pretty good lap here. Dismiss that. Just going to start take manual control and see if I can follow Craig. So he's coming round now. He's done a 1:45.4, but he's 0.5 up on his previous lap already. Just give me a second. I'm just going to check if I am going to be getting anyone to join me in commentary this evening. If not, we'll survive. I think I'll be on my own for now anyway. Neil turns up, it'll be a nice treat for all of us. So yeah, Craig, how's he doing now? He's still nearly half, so yeah, he's back up to half a second up on his lap so far. Got some other guys putting in some pretty storming laps actually. Let's just jump ahead to Cullingworth here. He's done a 1:45.3, but he's 0.7, nearly 0.8 up on his previous. See if he nails the last corner. Looking fairly good, didn't quite apex it, but he's 0.8 up. This is good and put him solid, what, top 3? There you go, third place, 1:44.5 from Cullingworth. Sparks, I think he's doing a fat. Oh, he's gone off track on that one, hasn't he? Molino on pole with 1:44.3 so far in the Porsche. There you go, it is possible. It is possible. And very close behind. So Sparks at 1:44.4, Cullingworth 44.5, Wolfslener 44.5 as well at the moment. Sims is putting in a good bid here as well. He's already a quarter of a second up on his 1:44.7. He's got quite a bit of his lap to go. Let's just see where else we are on track here. Wolfslener's just put it on pole with a 44.2, a cracking lap there. So we're getting really close to the 43s. I did see one, maybe two guys go into the 43s earlier. I think Mr. Sparks did. So at least 2 or 3 guys here capable of a 43, I think. And let's see how that works out. Looking pretty good so far. Let's get back on track. Molino is half a second up on his lap so far. A few guys have just gone off track a little bit on their fast lap, so I'll stick with Molino for now. He's nearly 3.5 tenths up, so that will put him on a 44 flat. Lost a little bit there. Let's just see how he gets the last corner. Oh, it looks good on the apex there. Is he taking it too wide? Nah, that's lovely. 3/10 up. This should put him on pole. There it is. Provisional pole for Molino in the Porsche on a 44.1. That is fast, isn't it? Loads of guys now. In fact, the top 9 in the 44s now all the way down to Larson. So yeah, if we're looking, we've got. Let's go for that view so we can just see the overall positions there on screen. So yeah, Molino out there did an absolute flyer there, put himself back on pole. Who else is on a good one? Sparks now coming round on another flying lap. He invalidated previous lap, so I think he's just putting another one in now. I've seen that he can do a 43, so let's just see how he gets on. Coming up the hill now, for this slightly off camber left-hander, hugging the curve. Not too sure on that camera, to be honest, but let's have a little look. Looking good through there. Yeah, well within the boundaries there. Let's just see how he takes the final corner. Nice and tight. They're not taking too many risks. What's he looking like here? He's still 3/10 up. This could be very competitive, and he's put it on pole. Provisional pole for Sparks there with 5 minutes to go in session. We'll go back to this view just because we can actually hold on a sec. No, I'll leave it. That's okay. I'll leave it on that view for now, just so we can see the overall positions. Okay, who else is on a fly? It's Sims. It's just put it on pole. Sorry, I completely missed that one. 44.022 for Paul Sims. So we are getting really close to the 43s here. Let's just see if anyone can do that. There's the 17 AMG there, just stopping for a glamour shot by the looks of it. Just going, yeah, take my picture, take my picture. He's off now. Who was that, the 17? Let's just have a look. Kamara in the Pro-Am or the Am category. Looking really competitive here. In fact, he's just been pipped by Holmberg, so he was originally at the front. No, he is there with a 144.4, the silver category, so really pushing above class there with a 144.4, putting him 5th on the grid. But there's some other really fast guys in the silver too. We got Holmberg, who's done a 144.7, and then we got Mark Christopher, also really close on a 144.8. So they are in the top 10, all three of those guys. Kamara 5th, Holmberg in 8th, Christopher in 10th. Evening, Laura. Good to see you here supporting. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I'm expecting once he gets a lap in for Gasson to be putting in a bit of a fly. In fact, he's on a good lap now. Let's just see where this gets him. 6/10 up. Puts into P5, so he's on the 3rd row right now. Got some guys putting in some. Wolfson of them was on a great lap, but something happened to his time. But Cullingworth as well is a couple of tenths up on his best of a 44.5. Let's just see how he goes here. There's a few guys putting in some laps. Stark is 2 tenths up as well at the moment. Commentator's curse. I'll pop back to him in a second. See where that puts him. Okay, so Cullingworth is P7. Starkey is currently P13 there as well. Okay, so looking just at the top 4 or 5 at the minute, we've got Paul Sims absolutely flying on a 44 dead, 44.1 for Sparks in 2nd, 44.1 for Molino, literally 200 slower than Sparks. Wolfslenner's 44.2 as well, and then Gasson's put it up to 5th now. There he is. Let's just go for a bit of a different camera. But yeah, he's just pulling up. Let's see who else is on a good lap. Let's just go back down the field a bit. Got Thomas here. He's 2.5 tenths up on his best so far in the silver category. Let's see where this puts him. That's put him up to P19, which seems like a long way back, but that's P1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, P7 in class. So he's up to P7 in class, just ahead of Richard Cook, who is the class leader at the moment. So at the moment he'll be starting alongside Richard Cook if things stay where they are. Let's just nip back to the front. Sims is not on a flyer at the moment. Sparks was on a it was on a lap. It's pulled up now. Okay, still P2 for Sparks with Sims in pole. Molino down to third now. Okay, which is probably the same before. Chris Bourne's on a pretty good lap in his super shiny AMG. Let's just stay on him for a minute because it's such a pretty car. A couple of guys on good laps. Mersh Poenoff as well in the pro category. He's 4 tenths up. In fact, I'll jump up to him because he's nearing the end of his lap. He's almost about to hit traffic, but hopefully it won't compromise his lap. 5 tenths up now. 45.0 at the moment, so she put him comfortably top 10. And he's P8. Gone up to P8 now, Merch, so well done, good lap. Okay, let's see who else is on. Another good one. So let's get back to Chris Bourne. He's still 3 tenths up on his best so far. His best being a 44.7, which I know he'll be wanting to take a big chunk out of if he can in that AMG. Oh, and he's off the wall. He's just pushing so hard, just understeered out a bit, but he's not lost all of that time. Still got 2 tenths up, got him on P10. So it's worth the bodywork for that, I think. Worth losing a couple of panels. Okay, Mr. Cook is a couple of waves, a 10th up on his lap. We'll come back to him in a second. Dan Moffat's suspiciously quiet here at Watkins, Glen tonight. I was expecting him to be right up there in the mix. Oh, I've had a bit of a off track back there. Who was that? Just went off as Merch, trying to do an even faster lap than his previous. Paul Sims is on a good lap as well. He's already P1. And then we've got a few others down the field as well in the pro category putting in some good laps. Serrano currently in 25th, but already over half a second up on their best. Dan Moffat's 2 tenths up on his best so far. Let's just stick with him for a second. In fact, I'm going to jump slightly ahead to Serrano because he's further ahead on the lap than Dan. So nearly half a second up on the 45.6. Get a 45 dead will put them top 15. But again, it's a lot of the silver drivers upsetting the party here for the pro. Let's just see, a little bit of oversteer there coming out of the final corner. Still 3 tenths up. Put some P21. See where Dan Moffat gets to. We're out of time. Dan's put himself P13, so he's got a lot of work to do there at the end of quali. But just looking at where we are, Paul Sims, he doesn't need to put in another lap, but he's done that last corner pretty well. He's only a 10th off his best on that final corner, just proving what he is capable of there. So, what have we got at the end of quali? We have got Sims on pole with a 44 dead. Sparks only a 10th behind. Molino a whisker behind Sparks on a 44.155. And we've got Wolfslener with 144.2. So literally 2 tenths separating the top 4, 3 tenths separating the top 5 there. Then we've got Gasson in the very bright Lambo there. Cullingworth in the Beamer in P6. Then we've got our silver category leader for tonight. He starts first in silver. In P7 is Kamara. Then we've got Mersh Panov, Waite, Chris Bourne. It's not focused on his car too well. Holmberg again in silver is starting P11, and Christopher next to him in P12. Going down the field, Moffat, Larson, Cook. Then we've got Starkey, Gary Barham, Colin McNair, Andy Oldhouse, Brown, Serrano, Lenatis, Gabbett, Marsh, Neve, Hamby, Homer, Cameron, Jordan McNair, Adam Rios, and Rich Askham at the back there with 2.5 seconds. So we've about 2 seconds separating the whole field. That is super tight. So it's looking like it's going to be a pretty close race. I'd say the top 5 or 6 in particular, super, super close on track. Right. Just see where we get to. Oh, that's me. You don't want that. I'll leave it with the chat on the screen. Good evening, Steve. Sorry, I've just seen your message. So we got here, Steve just saying hi to a few people in chat. So yes, Steve, evening, Chris. Laura said hi earlier, and Craig, you're here for the start. Chris Wilson as well. Yeah, so only a few of us tonight, but hopefully a few more pop in. I didn't pop the stream link scheduled up for until quite late, so I'm not expecting a huge turnout, to be fair, but I wanted to stream it anyway, just for those to come and watch and enjoy. Oh, Colin's having a flash. Always good to see Colin flashing. It's his signature move. It's got the JPS skin on this evening, I've noticed as well. There you go. Very nice. Right. So we got a full warm-up lap for the race. Got 2-minute countdown for that as well. Just get myself into place for that. Let's have a little look at Helicam there. Yeah, so great stuff. So yeah, just having a look at a couple of the liveries whilst we're waiting. What have we got here? Any requests on livery view in the chat? Oh, hold on. I better go back to the live view, then you might be able to see the screen. Craig, you'll always be the top Audi at this rate, I think. I'm not driving it anymore. I don't know if anyone else is. But fair play to you for sticking with it. What we got here is have a look at a couple of the liveries if we can. Haven't got the best view for this, but never mind. Let's go at the front of the grid. Have a look from. I don't want that view, do I? Okay. I shall leave it on Headicam for a minute. Who's that then on P2? Sparks. Look at that livery on P2. That's something else, isn't it? You're not going to miss that. And P3 is Molino in that Porsche. So there you go. And Wolfslander next to him. Wolfslander next to him as well in P4. He had a cracking race at Silverstone. Had a hard battle at the start and really showed his class of the race. So it's a cracking race and he's doing very well for it as well. Rich Gasson as well, going to be really competitive, I think, in that Lambo with the Union Jack flag on the roof there. Then we got Cullingworth, Kamara behind them. Then Merch Panoff as well behind that. Let's just nip through the field a bit. Christopher there in a Ferrari. Who's that with the Holmberg there with a pretty funky livery as well, I think. Let's see if we can't get something on the TV cam. Anybody else? I haven't updated a couple of my liveries, so apologies if there's a couple of carbon blacks in here for people that have updated. That's my bad. But we'll live. Okay, so what can we say about Watkins Glen, apart from me, or just, well, the bus stop. It's the bus stop, isn't it? Anyone that races 12 hours at Watkins Glen is probably insane, as I can't do 10 laps without having some kind of squeaky moment at the bus stop. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I can't ever imagine doing it again in the Audi. So good luck in the Audi. Craig. So yeah, who are we expecting to be the movers and shakers tonight? I think the top 6 are the top 6, as in race pace as well, potentially. I think Wolfslender's got serious potential to move up if he can make it work in the right places. Sims is going to be fast here in that Ferrari. I don't know how it does on tyres. I know it's cheap on fuel. I don't know about tyres. I think when it first came out it was a bit rough on tyres, but it's got a little bit better since. But it's a slow starter, as we know, so he could be under pressure at turn 1 from Molino and Wolfslenner and Gasson, I think, because you got 2 Porsches and Lambo there. Even Cullingworth in the BMW could be challenging and pushing in turn 1. Hopefully everybody doesn't try and win it at turn 1 and we all get through safely, but it's racing. Let's see how it goes. As far as movers and shakers go, just looking down the field, I'm expecting so I don't know, Mr. Cook, potentially Mr. Cook starting P14, moving up a little there, maybe if he just gets on his pace. I think he goes pretty fast here. I don't know how he's feeling about tonight. Looking down as well, the others in the group, well, there's loads, aren't there? There's loads of people that could move up. I wasn't expecting to see Dan Moffat down in P12. He's not a dive bomber. I don't expect he's going to go for ridiculous moves. However, I'd be surprised if he's going to be settling for P12. So I think he's going to be looking to capitalise on any mistakes. Say the same for Chris Bourne in P9 as well. I don't know how good the AMG is here, but I'm expecting him to be pushing for high positions. But literally looking at that top 10, all of those guys there I know are super fast. So let's just see how it goes at the start. Coming round now, we're forming up, we're about to pair up now. Very spaced out here. We really need to get our acts together. Come on, guys. Go focus on P6, and I think I might jump to Helicam. Hopefully Helicam gives us something useful. Just jumping up to P4 now to gas on. Still got some really weird lining up going on here, guys. Come on. Since Molino's out, is he out of position? Or is it Sims who's out of position here? It's hard to tell. Should be ready for the start. I'll focus on P4, Rich Gasson, just see how we get through the first corner. Looking like Sims got a start. It's a really weird alignment at the start there. I'm not being surprised if there's a penalty for being out of position. Little bit strange. We're pretty good there. Let's just nip down through the field a little bit. A few guys running wide. Let's just see where we get to. Going to pop up to Helicam. Going to go up to the top 4 here. At P3, looks like Wolfslen is already putting a bit of pressure on Molino. Going up to the bus stop. I don't think anybody's going to be that brave on lap 1 with cold tyres, to be honest. Yeah, we'll get through there fairly safely, hopefully. It's just a little bit back further through the field. Couple of 2 wides down there. But we're looking okay for now. Rios is gone at the back. Oh, Adam, he's gone. Who's he had a coming together with there? I think it's Sparks. Oh no, Sparks, he started well up there. He's very competitive, so he's right at the back now. He's got it all to do. Oh, bad luck, man. Bad luck. Okay. So Molino there, okay, he's eased off now. He's got the pressure off him from Wolfslen. Let's nip back to TV2. I think a slightly better view for us there. Mr. Bourne will drive it like he stole it. I like that. So Kamara's looking all right. He's held position, and considering what could have been at the bus stop, I think we got off fairly lightly. Sparks is the big loser there. Lost all of those positions, pushed him down to P31, and he was super competitive here. So let's just talk about the top 6 whilst we get through lap 1. And I'll just focus on Wolfslen, who's got gas on, looking at his diffuser, fancying a move, I reckon. He's a pretty strong driver, Rich. I think he'll be pushing for a move. Chris Bourne with the fastest opening lap means absolutely nothing in this game. So we'll stay focused on the battle for now. So yeah, everything fairly tight at the front so far. Some really close happening here. Oldhouse and Larson going side by side up the hill. Okay, Collins on the marbles on the outside there. No, he's back on. It's looking okay. Let's just stick with this battle a second. It's the closest battle on track. This is P16. And it's looking pretty feisty. Oh, there's a bit of brake checky, didn't it? It's a bit scary, that one. Luckily, nobody... we've had a spinner there. It's Thomas. Trying to track him out. Thomas spun into the bus stop there. I don't know if he got a knock or what happened to him. It's just popped back 15 seconds. Oh, he took a dive up the inside and way too much curve. All 4 wheels over the curve. It was a brave and valiant move, and luckily no damage done apart from to his pride, I would think, and he's back on track. Just go up to P7 now. This is Merch being chased down by Chris Bourne. Stick with this a second. He's close at the front as well. I will jump back to that in a second. Just at the moment, we've got Merch being chased down by Chris Bourne. Yeah, that AMG looks pretty tidy and race trim. Let's just see how he is at the final corner. Yeah, he's taking it pretty cautious so far, I think, but let's have a look. Molino's putting the fastest lap to bring it to 0.4 to the leader, Sims. Oh no, and he's had an issue. Oh no, he's just pushed it. T1, I think he's taken the inside curb. Let's have a look at this. Commentator's curse. But he had just gone purple lap. Yeah, he just was unsighted, didn't see the apex. Turned him way too early there. Caught the apex. Oh, just avoided the barriers. How's your rejoin, sir? Oh. And now he's trying to hold position in third. Fifth now. He's down to fifth. Oh, is that pushing now? Kamara behind him, leader in silver. Doesn't need to be battling him. He doesn't need to be doing that. The best thing he can do, he's 5 places ahead, Kamara, in the in that Ferrari behind the Porsche, and he needn't be doing that. He is leading class. So yeah, okay, Molino was slow up the hill, but that was a pretty tricky move into the bus stop. Pretty high risk move considering there wasn't really advantage apart from the glory, of course, going for a podium in the overall race. Okay, Walslener's 1.6 behind Sims in P1. Gasson is only 0.6 behind Walslener. Just going to focus on this battle here because now Molino's gone off track, probably having slightly toasty tyres at this point in time. Could be an opportunity for Kamara, and of course Kamara. Oh, what's happened there? Chris Bourne, I've completely missed the move. You think Spark started from the pits? Ah, okay, that makes a lot more sense because I didn't see the first lap instant for him. It's just clearly catching up. Okay. So what's going on here? Bourne was ahead of... No, he wasn't ahead of Murch, was he? He was chasing down Murch. So that's still status quo there. The battle's still here at the moment. I'll jump up to the front if anything changes, and we'll have a look further down the field shortly as well into that. Let's see how the silvers are going on as well. Sorry guys, just having a drink of water, my voice is going. Okay, so that's Murch chasing down Kamara there. So again, Kamara doesn't need to battle this. If Murch has the pace on him, if he wants to, I mean, it's a slippery slope though, isn't it? If he lets him go, he's got Chris Bourne right behind him as well. So yeah, if it's side by side and they're battling into the corner, fine, let him go. But yeah, obviously he wants to stay ahead on track if he possibly can. Seems to be driving really clean though, and he's putting in good laps. He's managed a best of 45.9. Leader's done a 45.1. Wolfslener's put in fastest lap of the race. Let's just focus on him for a second. Wolfslener here now in the fastest Porsche. Done a 144.9 already on lap 3. So that's a cracking lap. But it's still pretty close. The top 4 looking pretty close on track. Holding position at the moment, but all of them look like they're really pacey. And actually Molino is making a recovery as well after his T1 incident. Just have a little look down the field. So as I said, Kamara's leader in silver in the Pro-Ams, looking like he's on potentially for a very good finish. He's got some very fast guys in the Pro category behind him though, 4 in particular. Murch, Pornov, Chris Bourne. We've got Waite. Moffat is up to P10. I've Silent Assassin Danny Moffat. I've missed 3 of his moves already, and he's got Cook not far behind him as well in the AMG. Rich moving between the old Bentley for the Sunday race, but the AMG for this season race. So he's a multi-car fan now, but plenty of room in both of those for the picnic hamper, some champagne, and a couple of fine ladies of the night. So yeah, it's looking good for Danny. He's definitely got a lot of pace in that BMW. It looks really solid, doesn't it, in race trim? Possibly a bit more glued than the Ferraris at the moment as well. I think the Beamer, the front engine cars on a track that wears your tyres like this probably do have a bit of an advantage. Craig Evans Chardonnay. I'm on water. Doctor's orders, I'm afraid. Right, Wolfslener at the front there, just have a look at that gap. He's brought it down, it was 1.6. He's pulled back the gap on Paul Sims there, so it's 0.6 now, very close on track. 44.9 as I said, and his last lap 45.0, so he's putting in super solid flat 45s really, last couple of laps. Last lap for Paul was really bad. I think he must have made a mistake. He did a 45.8, which is 7/10 off his best. So I think, yeah, he's not loving the conditions out there right now. Let's just see how his car looks like he's handling. Actually, I'm going to get in. Let's get on the old bonnet camp, shall we? With Wolfslenner here, chasing down Paul Sims. Yeah, it's fairly cautious through turn 1. Coming up the hill. Gasson's only 0.9 behind Wolfslenner as well. I think he went wide at turn 1 because he's invalidated this lap, but only 0.9. Cullingworth 0.5 behind Gasson, so really good, really close up front. I'll jump down to the battle for P6 as well in a second, because the 4 pro guys behind Kamara are breathing down his neck as well. But let's just stay on board for a second with Wolfslenner as he tries to chase down Paulson. Nice tight line through that corner there. It's where all the grip is. If you start wide there, you never get to the apex. Slams it down to 3rd, maybe even 2nd for this corner. On the power, really. I can't get on as early as I thought. I think the Ferrari's better out of that corner, to be honest. Let's just see. But yeah, very late on the brakes. The Porsche there. Rotation into the corners there. Very close on pace, aren't they? They're really close at the moment. It's all under braking, isn't it? And the Porsche's really closed up under braking. Paul's exits look pretty good. But yeah, it looks to me like Wolfslenner is really managing that Porsche as well. It doesn't look like he's overdriving it. I know, commentators goes, touch wood. Hopefully he holds it together on track there. Excellent. Still close at the front, so let's just have a little bit of a look at this. Sims, Wolfslenner, Gasson, Cullingworth. Cullingworth really trying to put the pressure on Rich Gasson here in the Lambo, in the BMW behind the Lambo. Love that livery on the Lambo. It looks really good, doesn't it? You don't miss it. And the flag on the roof as well. Marvellous stuff. Molino doesn't quite look like... He hasn't got back onto the pack, has he? He hasn't back onto in P5. He's sort of slightly in no man's land there. He just needs to get up to Cullingworth and get in the slip, I think. Kamara P6 now really under pressure from Murch. Coming at the bus stop, nothing silly, got to take it. Slightly unsighted as you enter, but he took it well. Chris Bourne looks like he's, I don't know, biding his time, or maybe he's at the limit with the AMG. I just don't know what that car goes like here, really. But Christopher's had an incident, yellow flag, and he's had a spin. How's your rejoin? We're okay, we're okay. Let's just go back, have a little look at what happened there. Yeah, coming out the bus stop, he just got his balance, car balance wrong. I don't think he clipped too much curb, I just think he was already losing the back end. That's okay. Cullingworth's just put in the fastest lap of the race, 1:44.8. So he's really on a charge. Hunting down Gasson, who's very close to Wolfslenner as well. In fact, it's closing up at the front 4, isn't it? It's looking really good there. How are we doing here for Dan Moffat and Waite? And Dan's onto the back of this group now, so he's really making good progress. It's P10 on track, but the gaps aren't that big yet. The gaps are still pretty close. The biggest gap we've got in the top 10 is behind Molino. P5 to P6 is just over 2 seconds to Kamara. Kamara now arguably holding up Murch, and Murch has had enough of that. He's going for it into T1. Kamara says, no thanks, I'll just sweep round the outside. Murch, to be fair, he backed out of that. It gave Kamara enough room to make that stick. So some good driving by both drivers there. Some really close racing. It's given Chris the run though in the AMG on Murch. So Murch's good manners account for nothing in sim racing, do they? Chris looks like he's playing the AMG. I don't think Murch is going to give this up. And I think Chris maybe... No, he's going for it. So fair play to Murch. He backed out of that. Gave Chris the line. They could have gone side by side, but... that's balls of steel for going for a move like that. So yeah, wouldn't catch me doing that. Excellent. So well done, Chris. Good move there. Took advantage of Murch trying to make that move into turn 1. Compromised his own lap quite a bit there, didn't he? And he's given Kamara some breathing room. So okay, yeah. Steve commenting on Mark. I couldn't possibly comment on Mark. I don't know he's driving that well. So another incident back here between Hamby and Mr. Christopher, let's just go back 30 seconds, see what happens here. Okay, so Paul Hamby flying up the hill here. I think, oh yeah, Christopher's got a fair bit of damage from his, I think from his, is that Christopher in front of him? Sorry, I've lost track here. No, it's, sorry, I'm missing the plot here. Apologies for not seeing who that is. Oh, he's lost. Paul lost it. It's actually Mark Christopher's already gone in front of him, so Paul just lost it into the bus stop there. So apologies, trying to put any blame on anyone for that. Top four now looking really close on track. Let's just have a look for the helicam. Come on, helicam, you can do better than that. I think it would give us a nice distant view, wouldn't you, for us to actually see what's going on, but that's pretty awful. Okay. Back to TV1 coming up the hill. Oh, it's super close there. Wolfslener really pushing Paul Sims. Is he going to brave it round the out? Oh, it's good racing. Paul held his nerve and held his line. He didn't compromise himself coming out, but still giving Rich, the more they battle, the more chance there is that Rich Gasson's going to start to put them both under a lot of pressure here. And John Collingworth as well. Super fast on at the moment in the race, and I think BMW does seem to be looking after its tyres pretty well. Dan was making his moves up as well. In fact, he's not far off Merch now. So let's cut back to that in a second, but I'll stick on this for now. Let's go TV2, it's a slightly more sensible view. Yeah, giving him something different to look at. Rich Gasson goes, yeah, you carry on, keep compromising your line. I'll just sniff a little bit closer to your diffuser. And John Cullingworth smelling blood as well at the moment. Oh, a little bit of wheel spin coming out of that corner for Rich Gasson. Goes slightly defensive, but that's not really an overtaking point there. It's looking good. Let's just see who gets the better exit here. Both P1 and P3 under threat now. It's so close, which has given Molino a chance to catch up again. He's closed that gap. So here we go. The top 10 looking really close and competitive on track. Let's just see Wolfslener's exit looked better than Sims that time round. Rich has taken the off track there to guard the position, and so did John Cullingworth. So they're both pushing the limits. And see where they end up there. It's a yellow flag near the back of the field, but I don't want to jump back just yet. It's too much going on. Again, he's not close enough into the bus stop this time. Rich Gasson is under pressure. John thinks better of it. Tries to just take the better line through the bus stop. Has his exit. Can he go tighter than Rich? No, Rich has taken the tight line through there, as is where the grip is. So it's the best route. But yeah, Gasson's dropping back now from P1 and 2 because he is having to defend a little. Molino now closing up in 5th. It's a cracking race in the top 5. In fact, just jump back a little bit, hopefully not miss anything. But again, Kamara doing a cracking job of staying ahead of the other pro drivers here. Still 0.8 ahead of Chris Bourne, then Waite, Merch Panov, and Dan Moffat, and Cook about 1.5 seconds off Dan Moffat as well. If we just look at Merch here, I think he was just trying to break the toe there. Dan Moffat not quite up on him yet, is he? I thought he was. I think Dan had a bit of an off, or a bit of an incident. He was only 0.6 behind, now he's 1.4. So yeah, what happened there, Dan? But he's got a nice gap behind him to Richard Cook. Then behind Cook we've got Holmberg. Gary Barham there with a Motor livery. P13. Larson. Craig Starkey close behind them. Colin not far back either. Colin McNair in P16. Then Serrano. Gabbett. John Gabbett there in his two-tone livery. And very close behind him, Thomas Anatis as well, after he's doing all right P19, because didn't he drop right back at the start? So yeah, he's done very well to get back up to P19. It's fantastic work from Thomas. And Dave Sparks up to P20, so sort of riding on his coattails there, I think, a little bit. So some fantastic driving from those two. Both Sparks started from the pits. Thomas had a spin, lap 1 or 2, wasn't it? I've got a terrible memory, apologies guys. Right, let's have a look back at the front now, because this is where it's all happening. Gasson's closed right up again on Wolfslener. It's really to and fro here. Wolfslener looks like he's working that Porsche really hard. Now you can see the back end just kicked out a little bit in a braking zone there, whereas the Lambo's looking really solid. A bit like the Audi used to. It does tend to spin up a little bit out that corner, but looks good there. The other one is at the top of the hill towards the end of the lap. But yeah, still super close at the front, isn't it? It's hard to drag yourself away from it. Larson's looking very close to Gary Barham there. We'll just have a look at that for a second. And Sparks is right up on Lenatis as well now as they both try and get through the field. Though he might be wise to let Thomas do all the work there because they seem to both be making good progress. Yeah, Gary looks like he's not loving the BMW here at Watkins. What have we got on his lap there? Best is a 1:45.9, so yeah, he'll be unhappy with that pace. I know he can go a lot quicker. Cullingworth in P4 has improved on his fastest lap, 1:44.8 now. But the top four are all doing pretty similar laps. 1:44.88 for Wolfslener, 1:44.9 for Gasson. Best lap for Sims is 1:45.1, so he is going to be under pressure. He's not quite got the all-out pace of the other guys. So if he can hold on to this, he's done a cracking job. Back through the bus stop again. Looking fairly tidy still. That Lambo looks nailed on though, doesn't it? The front for Gasson. Apologies to Paul, I think I haven't got your livery, pal. So you are the stealth Fezzer at the front there. Stealth Fiat. Still really close. Molino still trying to make up that gap there as well. Let's just nip back to the Kamara battle. Kamara's still leading class with 1:45.2, which is nothing to... That's only a tenth of Paul Sims' best lap in P1. He's absolutely flying here in category. Richard Cook is the closest behind him. He's 5 places back in P11 in the Pro-Am category with a 1:45.9, so 7/10 slower than Kamara on his best lap. And last lap's looking good as well. 45.5 for Kamara, 46.3 for Cook. So Kamara's, his battle is not what we're seeing in front of us. I mean, yeah, he needs to stay out of trouble, but he's P1 in class if he just keeps his head down, keeps driving sensibly. Still super close at the front, back with the leaders. Might go on board with Gasson here. I think this could be quite a nice view to have. He gets the slip up there, but it's not enough, is it? And of course, Wolfslener's getting the slip off Sims at the front as well, so it's just a big train. It's going to be down to whoever makes first mistake, isn't it? Which has been pretty cautious through there, but he's got brilliant exit speed. Oh, Wolfslener shuts the door on him there. Don't know what happened. Wolfslener's line wasn't good coming out the bus stop at all there. He lost a massive amount of pace. Maybe he got a bit of a slip. I think the tyres on that Porsche are looking a little bit second hand, and I wouldn't bet against Gasson's Lambo tyres being in slightly better shape. Ferrari as well is looking really a bit loose, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, see that Lambo's spinning up a little bit out of the corner there as well. So yeah, let's just nip back to John Cullingworth in P4, still right up Gasson's diffuser there. That's a polite way of putting it. It's a lovely looking livery on that Lambo. The red highlights as well, a bit retro, nice. Okay, yeah, he's gone for wide lining, but he doesn't get the power on exit. So yeah, I think with 12 minutes to go, everyone's starting to cook their rear tyres a bit, and it's going to get harder and harder to hold a line up for an overtake, isn't it? The car's behaving like this. Molino's really up there again now. He's worked all race to get back up to competing for P4, maybe a podium spot if he can just really put it together. He's got the pace. He's done a 45 flat, which is again, it's comparable with P1. So if he can just put the laps in, maybe get a bit more slipstream, maybe he's got it in him to do that. Kamara's looking under a bit of pressure now. Back to the TV cam. Chris Bourne coming up the hill. Surprising that Chris hasn't managed to close up that gap on this drag up the hill in the AMG. You'd think it'd have the pace to do it, but then I guess the new Fiat is a little bit OP on that front at the moment. He's probably going to get clobbered quite hard with the Nerf hammer in the near future, I would have thought. But yeah, at the moment the AMG doesn't seem to have anything for it in any of the sectors. He doesn't have anything particularly to worry about. Kamara there. It looks like it's actually a fairly sensible gap. Let's get back to the front. Very close at front. Paul's looking like he's really struggling for pace. His last lap was a 45.8, so he's, yeah, a couple of mistakes there. Really untidy. Wolfslender's looking impatient. Gas, and I would be too with those two guys behind me, absolutely right up my backside. So it's really close. And Molino going as well for P4. And Cullingworth, is he going to keep it in there? Just give John something to think about. And John's too smart for that. Politely closes the door. He knows he's got a car's length to do so. And Molino's just saying, hello, I'm here now. Back in the race. But yeah, John's still with the fastest lap. If you can just... that you can see all, maybe with the exception of the Lambo, both the P1 and P2 looking a little bit loose going through those fast corners. Steve Howells, it is OP. There is something to see here, but we won't talk about that. Probably the Lambo is too if people get a hang of it. So we won't talk about that. Oh, look at that. So he's taken the pro line there. That's okay. Well, you know, if he wants to sacrifice one of his track cuts, going wide out of T1, it's a little bit strategic, but let's see where it ends up for him. I think if Paul just holds that inside line, I still don't think Wolfslender's got enough. No, he has to tuck in. Tucked in almost a little too far there, didn't he? And again, the exit, he's so wide on that exit, he's going to cut right back in to get the line in. Sim's under massive pressure now. It's just unbelievably close. Right down. In fact, let's view this from all the top five, literally in less than a second of each other. Don't know which view's best here. It's difficult to know. I'll stick with what we've got. Oh, John looks like he got a really good exit there on Rich Gasson. Rich trying to break the toe. He knows he's under pressure. Molino might get both of them at this rate. Absolutely flying back. It's like he's got back in the slip. Suddenly, John's going around the outside. He's working it hard. Is he going to hold it up the hill? No. Rich gets the power down just a little bit better. That could have been his inside line there, John, if he just managed to get the power down. BMW usually puts it down really well out of those corners, so I think he's just struggling with the TC towards the end of this race. 8 minutes to go. Yeah, Gasson backed off a little bit here, but P1 and P2 super close again. Slender's definitely got Sims's number here. Sim's fighting for his life, just trying to keep to his lines, get the power down where he can. Both running wide again. Might be one for the stewards. Oh, no, shouldn't mention the stewards. Don't mention the stewards. No. All spare in ACC. What the hell? No, the Porsche just doesn't have it, does it? The top end. That Ferrari's so fast at the top end. Should be up alongside with that kind of run up the hill. It's just not quite get it. Sim's going really wide there. Really bad exit. Cuts the inside so that there's nowhere for Wolfsland to go. No one's going around the outside there. I think where's his best chance? Where's his best chance? I think it's the end of the main straight or into the main straight. Start finish. Steve, you say you never do well, you probably end up winning. You now have the moniker, by the way, of sandbagger. You've taken it from other drivers that were prestigious, notorious sandbaggers before you. We all know you can race group. Just, you're obviously a very busy man on a Monday. Super closely. Let's see what else is going on track. I'm missing out on some things here. Okay, I know it's super close at the front. I don't want to miss it, but at the same time... Oh, Kamara's had an instant... Oh, no! Kamara's off! What happened? What happened? Oh, mate. Oh, what happened to Kamara? Oh, we need to see, don't we? We need to see that. Let me just check the gaps at the front. I don't want to miss anything. Once it's gone, I'll have to go back, I think, go back 60 seconds for 15. Let's see. So Chris got ahead of him. Sorry, I missed the pass. Chris got ahead of him. Still, oh, I just took a load of curb coming out of that corner. Oh, how did that not take both of them out? Oh, what a disaster for Kamara there. Oh, heart goes, absolutely sinks. And in class, that puts Cook in P1 for class as well. So, oh, this is really close again. Wow. Oh no, he's pushed. Has he pushed him? That looked very, very suspicious. I'll leave that one for the stewards. One for the stewards there. Oh, and John's not having either. He's coming through too. And Paul Sims getting absolutely abused there. And he's lost 4 places down to P5. Terrible, terrible luck for him there. Let's just go back 30 seconds, see what happened. So he got the run. Wolfslander got the run. This time he has to keep it in. It's the only place he can get the pace. Has to keep it in. Comes through. Oh, Paul's really slow through the left-hander there. Don't know if there's a little nudge, to be honest. I don't want to pass judgment on it. Looked very, very close. And John there trying to hold his line, but I think the BMW just ran wide into Paul. It wasn't an intentional move. I don't see why it would be. Yeah, so there we go, which gives Wolfslander the lead. Oh, he's got... Ah, sorry, I was missing... still 30 seconds back. So 5 minutes to go. Wolfslander takes the lead, and fortune's completely turned upside down for Paul Sims there. That is a tough, tough result for Paul there. He'd done so well to hold on to it for that long. Yeah, you're right, Chris. It could well have been a slide. It's a couple of times into the bus stop, P1 and P2, losing the back end a little bit, recovering it. They're both very talented drivers, and certainly there's no malice there, no intent. They're both very, very respectful drivers. So yeah, not casting aspersions on either of them. They're both excellent drivers, and we know it, and both very much at the pointy end of the championship as well. What else are we missing on track here? Chris has got Merch behind him now, so yeah, Chris made obviously has done very well to get up to P6. I apologise in advance to Chris, and I apologise now to Steve and Chris's. I'm not going to say fan club, that's derogatory, but Chris's mates. I've missed all of those passes. He's obviously bowed his time well. He's done a great job. Got himself up to P6. As we all know, super shiny liveries are worth 2/10 a lap, and that is just fact. Nobody can argue with that. Merch still trying to do better without a super shiny livery there. He's doing a good job. Chris looks like he's again very second hand on those rear tyres to go a little slower through that corner. The Ferrari seems to be doing okay. Gaps at the front fairly consistent now. Dan Moffat looked like he's on a final push to try and get up to P8. Remember, he started P13, I believe, so he is up. Let's just see how many places he's up. I think I can see this. Hold on. Yeah, Dan Moffat's... oh no, okay, he says he's only up 3 here. I can't believe that. He's up more than that. So, and Cook as well, up 4 places from the start. And leading class now. So there's just, whilst things are, say, calm, they're not calm. It's still very close. Gary Barham here, a lot of pressure on him for the 2 Ferraris behind him. There's 3 Ferraris behind him. Again, oh, very slidey coming out of the final corner there. Has he kept the pace though? Let's have a look. Both Ferraris looking very keen to push past. Larson followed by Starkey in those 2 Ferraris. Both very close on track. Gary under a heck of a lot of pressure there to hold on to that P12. Just looking a little bit further back. So let's look at class as well. Oh no, we'll stick on this. It's looking very tight up the hill. Gary taking the defensive line towards the bus stop. Is he going to hold that line middle of the track as he's entitled to be? It's good late on the brakes, that Beamer. It's good on the brakes. A lot of curb there, but not to unsettle the car. So he took a very good line through there. But the Ferraris look grippier, don't they, through the faster corners? Collins looking under pressure here as well in P19 from Mr. Cameron in a very racy Porsche, bombing up the hill there. The super shiny red wheels. See again, shiny wheels make you 2/10 faster as well, clearly. John Player special under pressure from Proud Scott there on the left. Scott. Yeah, he thinks better of it, pulls back in. And he's back off again for another lap. Dan really trying to get back onto this battle, but there really isn't a lot of the race left. And just behind Dan, well, I can't say just behind Dan, 7 seconds now. So again, not greatest race for Rich Cook, but class leader in Pro-Am. So 2 seconds ahead of Holmberg, and then 1.7 ahead of Gary Barham. So that is the silver podium there. So Gary is fighting for a podium position in class, and looks like the two Ferraris are battling away so much that Gary's managed to put a little bit of a gap. He's got to hold it together for one more lap. Let's just look at the front of the field. So Wolfsland looks like, if he doesn't make any mistakes, he's 1.1 ahead of John here. John's got into P2. Did I miss that one as well, guys? I'm sorry if I didn't see that. But yeah, so John Cullingworth will be very happy with P2. With starting position, Rich Gasson in P3. Just not quite, I expected Rich to possibly be fighting for the lead. Paul Sims, now that he's behind those guys, he's really gone off the pace now. He looks like he's really struggling. Not too much to do to hold together. Molino and Chris Bourne absolutely battling here in P5. I obviously missed something because this gap closed right up. It was a good couple of seconds, and now it's barely anything. So this is where the action actually is. I'll cut to the leaders just for the end of the lap in a second, but let's just see how this pans out. Rich Gasson trying to show something to John Cullingworth there in P2 and 3, but I don't think that's going to happen for him. What we're actually really looking at here is Chris Bourne really piling on pressure for Luciano Molino in the Porsche. I think that could be it now. I think that could be where things end up unless either of them make a mistake. And Paul Sims will hold on to P4. So he got that back, didn't he, from Luciano, because he did drop to P5. Another pass I missed. And another pass I missed for Dan Moffat as well, who got past Wade. So, apologies for missing so much, but I'm running the show myself this evening. What have we got here? Wolfslener P1, Cullingworth P2, which you'll be very pleased with. Rich Gasson, I think, will be happy with P3. There were a few incidents there. Paul Sims, all things considered, P4. Look, it's a good result, but he's going to be gutted, isn't he? He's going to be gutted about that. Yeah, there you go. Smacks his head into a wall. He's had enough for today. I think that's it. Credit to Molino P5, Chris Bourne up to P6 from, well, made a fair few places up there, didn't he? Let's just have a look at what he did in the race. So yeah, five or six places up for Chris Bourne there. And then looking down the field as well, Mersch, Dan, Moffat, Waite, Cook in P1 in class, Holmberg P2 in class, Barham P3 in class. So cracking race all round. Too much to follow, lots to follow, too much for me. Sorry I missed some of the passes again, folks, but hopefully still enjoyable to watch. I think we're pretty much all over now. We're still actually on track racing for a few people, aren't we, as they come over the line? I think we're pretty much done. Colin looks like he had a serious incident there with the front of his Beamer, unless he did that over the line. Finishing P20, but a finish is a finish. He said to me tonight, for finish, I'll be happy. So yeah, John Gabbett, P16. I'm not sure if it is P16. A couple of people have dropped off the server now. We'll look at the results later, but we'll get those up. So it looks to me like John got 5th in class there. Craig Starkey, 4th in class. I could be wrong. But cracking race. Really good. And anybody gets hold of the replay file, they can actually watch the overtakes that I missed. So apologies for that. But thank you for those coming in and watching. Hope it was still good entertainment, even if I missed a few things. And yeah, hope to see you at the next one. I think someone else is going to be streaming tomorrow night, not me, but I think Colin's spoken to somebody about streaming the Group 2 race, so keep a lookout for that in stream links. Hopefully that'll be up a little bit later or tomorrow. But yeah, well done everybody, well done Group 1, good show of a race. Only a couple of incidents, and I think again none of those were insane, they were just tough. Way to go. Well done Paul Sims for battling and almost holding on to P1 there when the Ferrari was looking a little bit second hand. So cracking stuff, good race. And thank you all for coming along tonight. Let me just see if I got the right one. Don't want my camera, just say hi and bye. But thanks for coming along to the race tonight. I'll see you all at the next one. Cheers guys and girls.